Hey, Dawn, thank you so much for being here today. We're so grateful we get to interview you. I would love if you could introduce yourself.
My name is Dawn Ireland, also known as D.E. Greenfield. As a matter of fact, I'm dropping the Ireland, so you will probably only know me as Dawn Greenfield from this day forward. And I am an author with 17 published novels and 7 nonfiction books, 2 online classes, and 15 screenplays. So I do it all.
Love that. That's so amazing. I would love if you could tell us more about what your books are about.
I have 5 series, 2 cozy mystery series, 1 dystopian series. So I'll go into that before I do anything else. Okay, so the very first series that I wrote was the Alcott Family Adventures, otherwise known as Hot Chocolate, Bitter Chocolate, Spicy Chocolate, and just recently I've published the 4th book, Nutty Chocolate. Those are cozy mysteries, and there are 3 middle-aged sisters, and their father is a chocolate billionaire. So it's very fun, and I think people will enjoy it because it's set in the elite River Oaks section of Houston. So that's that one. And then the next one up was what I consider a young adult series, but it's young adult, Prophecy of Thol. There are 5 books in that series. The 5th book just was published just a few months ago. So there's Prophecy of Thol, Gifts from Thol, Love of Thol, King of Thol, and then Earth Calling Thol. And that's basically about a 17-year-old girl who's at the Katy Mills shopping mall in Houston, and she gets fog comes down and embraces her. And when it rolls back, she's gone, and she finds herself in this very exotic world of Thol, where there's creatures and creature people and all kinds of stuff. So that was that one. And then we have my dystopian, The Last Dog, which is set in 2086. That contains 2 books right now, The Last Dog, and then Texmexzona. In 2086, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and somebody else, some other state, formed its own region. It's not a country yet, but it's its own region. And as far as the powers that be in the United States, if you leave the United States and go to Texmexzona, then you give up your citizenship. So basically, it's about an event that happens, and the Maxwell's little dog, 6-week-old puppy named Abby, is the last dog on the planet. So that's a really good one. Okay, and then so people, wonder about this, but I've always loved shapeshifters and billionaire books. So I created my Bonded series. So it's shapeshifters. And I write on the inside of the book, right on my website and everywhere else, it's like you have to be 18 years old or older to read this, because shapeshifters are violent and they're sexual. So that's that. So it's there's how many in that series? I don't know. There's several books in that series. And I love my shapeshifters. It's Roman and Gage and Ari. And then we have another cozy mystery set, which is called Katz's Cat. And it's about a young journalist who just throws in the towel after he's robbed at a gas station. And, he just can't take living in the big city. And the big city, of course, is Houston, but I only call it the big city in all the books. So he finds a job in this tiny little town called Twinkle, Texas, in Starlight County, which is in the middle of nowhere. It's like 300 and some odd miles from the closest shopping mall. So it's, you know, life in the small town, and it's fun. So it's Cats is Cat, and then Bill Hill's Pills. I know that's a tongue twister. And then I have a standalone science fiction romance called Forced Dreams. So I think that's it. I hope I didn't leave anybody out.
Love that. What inspired you to write your books?
You know, I started back in 1979, and I had a very long commute to work. And so, you know, driving, and I started daydreaming about, well, the very first book, which was Thol, Prophecy of Thol, which had a different name back then. And so every day for about a week, I just, you know, kept embellishing on that fantasy, to the point where I always had a yellow line tablet and a pen on the passenger seat. So anytime I stopped, I scribbled. And I really didn't know anything at all about writing at that time. I mean, I literally didn't. I mean, I had grammar problems and punctuation problems and all kinds of things. I finished the first draft in 1984, and it was awful. I still have it. It was awful. My main character cried through 85% of the book. You know, I mean, it was just dreadful. So, you know, from there, it's just, you know, my imagination just took off. And people ask me, well, do you ever have writer's block? And I'm there, no, I've got the opposite problem. I have file folders with little snippets of paper and full sheets with all kinds of, you know, project ideas. I just, you know, need to grow another couple of heads and several more hands, and so I can, you know, get them all done.
Love that. When you were writing your books, who were you thinking of when it comes to who your books are for?
You know, that's always been kind of difficult for me. Well, except for really, except for the Bonded series. I knew exactly, you know, that was for an adult audience. Well, I guess I could say that, you know, for Hot Chocolate, that was a mystery, cozy mystery. There's no blood and guts in there, you know, because cozies, you have the, you know, the dead body after, you know, they've been killed, you know, so. And I guess the only one that really is kind of dangling is Forced Dreams, you know, because it's a science fiction romance adventure. And I think I really need to change some categories and keywords so people can find it.
Love that. How I know you touched on this, but how long have you been writing and what made you really sit down and start?
Yeah, that was back in 1979. And like I mentioned, I had no writing experience whatsoever. And just, you know, daydreams. I've always, you know, since I was a child, I always had a wild imagination, but I never wrote anything down. And to be honest, I'm not really sure why I started writing that down, but I'm very grateful because it's taken me a long ways.
What is your schedule like when you are writing a book?
You know, I really don't have a schedule. Uh, because I mean, I could write early in the morning or mid afternoon or late at night. You know, it just really depends. But I mean, I don't ever have any problem, you know, sitting down. I mean, I know a lot of writers who like, oh my God, I have to sit down. I've got to do something, you know, and I don't have that problem. I mean, I just have to figure out when I can sit down that I'm not disturbed by, you know, a cat climbing on the desk or the dog having to, you know, scratch at the back door to go out. So
Love it. What do you need in your writing space to help you stay focused?
I like a window. So I have a lot of direct light. And then I also need a table light. and my second monitor, which is, I've got a large MacBook Pro, but it's only so big. But I use my second monitor to put whatever I need up here, research stuff or whatever. I think what else? Oh, and I'm a mouse person. I just cannot do the trackpad. I just can't. And I think that stems from how long I've been using a computer.
Love that. What is your favorite writing snack or drink?
I'm a waterholic. I gave up iced tea like maybe 20, 25 years ago. And so literally I'm a waterholic, but I also drink tea, herbal teas. And that's about it. So, and snacks, either cashews or pistachios. I'm really trying to dejunk myself from gluten, which is really, really difficult. So no cookies, no cake, no crackers, stuff like that, unless they're gluten free and they don't taste like cardboard.
Love it. What type of books do you personally enjoy reading?
I'm all over the place with that. I read anywhere from 2 to 6 books a week in between everything else. And I mean, I read, every type of fiction and nonfiction that you could possibly think of. I mean, some I get very bored with real easily. I mean, there are some romances that I leave very honest reviews. I don't regurgitate the synopsis. And when an author has repeated something 9,000 times through the book, I make a comment, and it's like, your readers aren't stupid. They don't have bad memories. They don't need to be reminded of this one little thing, 5,000 times. So I have a problem with the romances because nobody else does that. I mean, mystery writers don't do that. Dystopian writers don't do that. It's just those romance writers. And I don't know if that's some kind of a formula that they write to or what, but it's really annoying for me.
Are there any books or authors that inspired you to become a writer?
Well, I was raised with Edgar Rice Burroughs, all the, let's see, the Tarzan, and then the Mars series. And then my grandfather was a Zane Grey Western reader. So I read that. And my mother, bless her, she had every single Barbara Cartland book ever printed. So she was a romance writer. So in my family growing up, what I saw was, as a child, was this, you didn't see your parents' faces, you just saw they were either in a book or a magazine or a newspaper or a journal or something. So reading really was important in my family.
Love that. What type of books did you grow up reading? Did you have an all-time favorite?
I remember Bamba the Jungle Boy. I have no idea if that's still out there because I'm not a young chick, so I have no idea if it's still alive. Because some books they have a very short publishing life. So I mean, I loved adventures and science fiction and fantasy. I just loved those things. And then I do remember reading. Oh my God, I cannot remember the series names. It was something very, very popular when I was growing up. It was a mystery with young children. So whatever that was, I read it.
Love it. On the opposite side, now as an adult, what are your favorite series or authors that if they come out with something, you automatically grab it?
Oh, Lee Child. Uh, I love all his things. And of course, J.K. Rowling. I will read anything, even if it's on toilet paper. I don't care. You know, I love people that are very creative. There's just a lot of different authors that I read. Someone that people probably have never heard of is, I think it's J.C. Andrzejewski. She has some really great books out there. She writes about seers, and I just, I just grab onto authors, and it doesn't make any difference what they write.
Love that. What would you tell someone just starting out with reading again?
Well, what my parents told us, they didn't care if we read the cereal box, a comic book, whatever. Reading is very important. You not only do your brain a favor instead of, watching TV or something, but you are also learning about grammar and punctuation and how people put things together. And to me, it's important to just let your mind expand, and you can do that through reading. And it doesn't make any difference what you read.
Love that. On the other side of that, what would you tell someone just starting to write their own book?
Don't edit going through it. Hold off editing anything until the very end. Otherwise, you will never finish the first draft. It's really important to just, get it down. And if you start with an outline, just know that as you're writing, your outline will change. So make notations that, that it's changing. Your characters will let you know what they want to do.
Love that. What's one thing that people are generally surprised to find out about you?
Well, people have asked me, how I started writing, and you know, what got me to where I am today. And I attribute a lot of things to my career as a technical writer, which I literally fell into because I transitioned from like a secretarial role into a technical writer because the management of that department discovered that I was really good at finding bloopers and letting them know that there's something wrong with this because it doesn't make sense. And technical writing also helped me with the whole process of publishing because at my job at Compact Computer, I wrote manuals, and then there was the editing process, and then the going to the printer process. And that just really expanded my knowledge. And then after that, it was helping me with my creative side also. You know, I'll always be grateful for that background.
Love that. Is there anything you would like to say or add?
If you've got a story in your head, get it out. There's so many people that are so afraid, they want to write, they're afraid of what people are going to say about them or, say to them. And I've told many people, you know what? Sometimes you have to divorce people. Sometimes you have to just push people aside because if they're not going to support what you're wanting to do, and all they're going to do is just throw negativity your way, then they're not really looking out for you. There's too many people that I've known that just squelched their writing career because of that. And it's just really a shame.
Love that. Where's the best place for readers to find your books? I know some readers love signed copies. Is that an option and the best place to connect with you?
Well, they can connect with me on my website. Currently, it's dawngreenfieldireland.com, but don't freak out. It's going to change to DE Greenfield pretty soon, but I'll have a forwarding so you can find it. But, so you can get books from me, or I am all over Amazon. Go to my author page on Amazon, and you will find all about me, all about my books and everything else. My website is pretty extensive. It has all my awards because I've won quite a few awards through fiction, nonfiction, and screenplays. So, and it's colorful. My website is very colorful. You can also find me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that. Okay.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here today. We're so grateful we got to interview you. We'll be sure to drop those links in the show notes. That way everyone can find you. And again, thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.